pointing, but on the other hand or token, whatever you've got, hands or tokens, you can get an idea of what's possible. So I'm going to make some gray text, and it's going to say 3D text, and I'll scale it. All right. Now, if you go to effects, one of them is 3D. Effect 3D. And the most probable thing you'll want to do to create 3D text is to do extrude and bevel. Extrude means to squish the text, or as if to squish material through this text as if it is a press. So if I click on preview, there's the 3D text. Not so exciting. Part of that is because there's really not any bevel on it, and also because of the lighting. I have plastic shading, diffuse shading, wireframe, no shading, and diffuse shading. If I start turning this little cube, this is changing the angle that my 3D text is at, which is really not helping all that much. So I'm going to click cancel, and then I'm going to change the text color, because that's kind of key in creating 3D text. It's generally a good idea to do a mid-tone kind of a color, not something really dark or really light, so I'm going to go with this blue color. And again, it's Effect 3D, use the regular selection tool, Effect 3D, and Extrude. Wrong and bad. Didn't want that. I want Effect 3D Extrude, not Revolve. There we go. And preview. Now it looks much better because it has to shade something. And in this case, it's actually got some real light parameters based on the blue color to shade from. So that's basically what you can do. There are limits, right? So here I can take the cube and revolve this item around the cube, and here this is the text itself. The cube is the text itself, so you're changing the position of that. A bevel is how the edges are treated. Classic bevel's probably the best one. The rest of these might be fairly frightening. Making multiple strange lines on things and getting bad effects, such as not really truly rendering the text very well at all. So if any of these, I would use classic. If I used any at all, I would probably use none. If I had to use this for something, it would likely be something fairly simple. Now this is no longer editable text either, or is it? If I select this, and you can see, now this can be very dangerous what I'm going to do. You can see as I mouse over it, it actually is showing that it's text. So I want to make the 3 larger. I'm selecting the 3. This is a really good way to crash Illustrator, so I'm just saying that in case it crashes. You can see I don't have a size to pick that's bigger than 156, so I'm going to have to type this in, and I'm typing 200 for the size of just that number, and then I'm clicking the return key. And then when I click away, this is the part that often will crash, is it had to re-render that 3, which it did. It did okay, right? So if I want to do that same thing for the letter T here, I can type in, and on this field, 200, and press return. And then on the last T, I'll do the same thing. I'll double click up in this field and type 200 and return. So that is 3D text. You actually can still change these colors, which is kind of bizarre. And then when you're done with it, it's probably a good idea to do expand appearance or rasterize. If you do expand appearance, you have points, which is going to print better, so I would go with that. And then you can click away. In addition, now that you've expanded, each one of these little pieces is a separate drawn shape in Illustrator, and you can essentially select these elements, and if I didn't want this shading to have this kind of pumpkin color, you can select all the pieces that are that color. Hopefully they are all the ones that are that color. And now it doesn't know what to do. So Here is what I'm going to teach you. Last thing, I keep saying that. Select same appearance. Now everything that's got that pumpkin color appearance supposedly is what's selected. And I will change it to a dark orange. Did not like that at all. Okay, that did not work. So here's the color I want to use, and I have to sadly change these one at a time, which is a very sad state of affairs and quite slow. But that is how you would have to do that. Okay? All right.
What is rasterize?
Rasterize turns it into pixels. And once it's turned into a pixel-based object, it is not going to do a good job scaling. So you might want to not do that unless you're completely and utterly done with this project and there's a strong reason for you to need that. Otherwise, you'll want to just select and change your colors as I'm showing you here. Okay, so that's 3D text.